want to get better at crystal PvP, then stick to the end, because I'm going to be sharing the best crystal PvP tips to help me get to where I am today. Keybinds are probably the most important thing for any type of PvP, especially crystal PvP. Keybinds help you do what is called a hit crystal, which we will be learning about later in this video. So I suggest you get some keybinds, and here's what my keybinds are. So now that you have your keybinds down, let's get into some basic tricks. The hit crystal is probably the most basic trick there is. It consists of hitting your opponent, placing obsidian, then placing a crystal onto the obsidian, and lastly, breaking the crystal. This trick deals the most amount of damage when the opponent is in the air, which is why you hit your opponent up in the first place. So don't bother spamming crystals if your opponent isn't in the air or one block higher than you. The next basic trick there is called anchoring. Now I mainly use this to start whole fights or just weaken my opponent before we get into an engagement. But this is how you go about anchoring. First, you place the anchor next to your opponent, then you charge it up with glowstone. Now there's two things you can do from here. You can either A, just blow up the anchor as is, or B, you can place a block in front of you to take as minimal damage as possible, and then blow up the anchor. And the last basic trick is pre-gapping. You see me do this every time before the game starts. This is because there's a secret bar called saturation. You cannot see this bar, but just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not a real thing. So right before every game, I will use my potions and then eat 2 to 3 golden apples before I go and fight. Now that you've mastered the basic tricks, let's get on to the more advanced tricks, starting off with a D-tap. Now D-taps are hard to perform. You need really good ping in order to do this. To do a D-tap, it's the exact same way you do a hit crystal. However, you have to place another crystal on the obsidian to kill your opponent, because one crystal doesn't kill your opponent if they're holding a totem, which is why you place 2 crystals. The next advanced trick is called a butterfly crystal, which I find really hard to do because you need to know which direction your opponent is going. So to do a butterfly crystal, you have to do a normal hit crystal, but then place another piece of obsidian underneath your opponent, and place another crystal on it. This is how you perform a butterfly crystal. Now this next trick is one of my favorite because it looks really cool when you pull it off successfully. It is called the rocket crystal. And the way you do a rocket crystal is by doing the normal hit crystal, but then spamming the absolute life out of crystals, which leads to launching your opponents in the air. By the way, if you've made it this far into the video, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it because I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please, subscribe. Moving on to our next advanced tip, we have potions. Now the 2 potions I am talking about is Weakness and Turtle Master. Weakness, when thrown onto your opponent, makes it so they cannot break the crystal while holding a crystal, making them have to switch to their sword in order to break the crystal. But this can be bypassed by strength too, making them able to break the crystal again with their crystals. Now Turtle Master potions are mainly used for slowing down your opponent, but I don't use them like that. I use Turtle Master potions as a backup, just in case I'm getting absolutely destroyed. Turtle Master gives you slowness 4, however it also gives you resistance 3, meaning you can take more damage from a crystal or anchor. The next advanced trick there is called a rainbow anchor. This is when you boost your opponent up with an anchor and use crystals to either kill or deal damage. I mainly use this when I'm in a whole fight because it is hard to escape when you're underground or getting spam anchor and crystal. Now this next advanced trick is super easy to pull off. It's called pearl flashing. And basically you pearl onto your opponent. This makes you take a damage tick, therefore you cannot take knockback until that damage tick is over. Now this is more of a basic trick, but I see this happen way too often. Always heal your armor. I've had too many games where me or my teammate have lost our helmet because we forgot to heal our armor. Now don't heal it halfway because you never know when the next chance to heal your armor will be, so heal it all the way. If you found this video helpful, then make sure to subscribe as I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.